everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I am your host, Shania Lancaster, and this is something new. Nutrition and conversation. Sunday dinner. Sunday's dinner today is going to be so simple. I mean, it's really going to be simple. It is nothing gourmet. I never promised gourmet. I just wanted to have dinner, and it's going to be really quick as far as preparing, so that actually gives us more time to talk. And we are going to have drum roll. I can't even do that thing. I think that's so gross because when people do that, there is a lot of spit coming out. They just don't know it. Anyway, we are having Edamame Spaghetti. What? I know. I told you guys when I first started recording, I said I like pasta. Edamame Spaghetti. Never had it. And what would you eat with edamame? Well, here's going to be the part where some of you are going to be like, that's not really nutritional, but it is actually, it's lean cuisine. They're trying to be healthy. It would be healthy. It's still a healthier choice. Cauliflower gnocchi. Yeah, look at that. And pesto. Now, if you know anything about gnocchi, gnocchi, is some kind of like pasta, I think, but it's very like, it's high in carbs and everything. I love gnocchi, but because the gnocchi is made out of cauliflower, right? So as far as fat goes, you don't have to really worry about it. Now, what you do have to worry about when consuming this is the sodium. That's right. You gotta think about the sodium. And what's crazy is that, where was it? Let me see. Because I want to show y'all this. Because I couldn't believe when I saw it. It is somewhere on this box. And I thought it was funny. Somewhere on this box, it literally tells you to consume a lot of water. Oh, there it is. Thoughtful portion, right? One portion equals one bowl, which is this, right? Enjoy. And then it says, and remember to hydrate. So they know how much sodium is in here. And so, of course, I will be consuming a lot of water. Now, this is not something that I would eat every day just because of the sodium intake. But as far as the calories for the serving, for this, hold on. Woo! Excuse me. As far as the sodium is concerned, wait a minute, that wasn't what I was supposed to. As far as the calories is concerned, for the whole entire bowl, it's 380 calories, right? But this basically what I'm going to use this for as a topping to the edamame spaghetti, because it does have a really generous amount of sauce, pesto sauce. So let's just get started. This is going to be so easy because basically I'm just going to boil the water and then throw these in there. Never had these before. And then we're going to pop this in the microwave, top it off, and okay. And there we have it. Yep. And of course we got my water. And we have, oh, don't look at my nails, y'all, because my fake nails fell off yesterday. Look, I'm just going to hide them. We have the botanical cold water infusion. This is watermelon cucumber mint. Yep. So let's get started. Okay. How's that? Good? Yes? And I think I got the full shot. All right, people. Lord bless this food and nourish my body and mind. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. Thank you. And put my little infused water on. I don't have to turn on the lights yet. I may not have to turn it on at all today because I started earlier, but it is getting dark quickly. Okay. Oh. Ugh. Okay. So. Now, again, I haven't had this edamame spaghetti, but I have had the gnocchi, the cauliflower gnocchi with the basil pesto sauce. Okay. I had to fix my hair. Anyway, let's see. Again, I'm attempting to eat with a normal fork. You know what? It has a different texture than a black bean pasta. But just like the black bean pasta, right? It has like a very just subtle taste. Like I can see like you need to add other things to it. So it's not nasty. That's not what I'm sitting here trying to avoid. Nope, not nasty, because it really doesn't have a taste. So it's basically a blank palate. I mean, I do taste the hint of the edamame bean or legumi, Legos. But if you put that gnocchi, that cauliflower gnocchi with it, it just got real. Just got real. Anybody who likes gnocchi, like the real gnocchi pasta, like if you go to Olive Garden and get the gnocchi soup, I'm telling you right now, if people say I don't like cauliflower, I promise you, you will be pleasantly surprised. Lean Cuisine, they did this. They got a whole series of foods that they're making out of cauliflower. I know y'all dying for me to talk about today's topic. I told Linda this morning when I was on the phone with her. She was on her way to the beach. And we were talking about different things. And so, you know, I told her what I probably was going to make for dinner. So this is no surprise to her. And I said, Linda, while you're along the beach, you know, because that's where people get inspired, you know, think of something. Give me a topic. I mean, because I had like a lot of topics, but I just couldn't pinpoint one. And a friend of mine came over this morning to visit. And I had my TV on YouTube like I normally do. And it was on one of the channels that I'm subscribed to, where it's two different women. They make houses, like little playhouses, you know, for their daughters or whatever, out of cardboard, either like cardboard, like a regular box, and they cut it into cardboard. And one of the ladies, she does it with cardboard, and she's known for doing it with plastic bottles, like, you know, like a 2-liter Coke or water bottle. And she can make these fairy houses or whatever. Now, some of you may know what I'm talking about, but they never talk. You never see their faces, you know. The transformation that they do with these boxes and plastic bottles is unbelievable. I am fascinated that you can take something that we would throw away, right, when we're done, and make it into something different. And I think the gnat. I think one of them is called DIY Mom. I don't know, but I am going to leave the links below. Now, yes, I know y'all probably like, well, Shine, you're promoting someone else's channel. I really don't care, because, you know, they have hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people who watch, you know, who's already subscribed. And that's not what this is about. It's about the fact that I'm impressed. I am impressed because for a million years, I would never have thought of something like that. So anyway, hold on, let me take a bite. Okay, so again, so I had it on that channel, and, you know, this friend of mine, I really wanted them to see it. Now, they know that I am going to be talking about this subject. They were not too happy that I said, oh, you gave me my subject. And I said, don't worry, you know, I'm not going to say your name. Anyway, what happened was, they seemed like they was fascinated a little bit, right? With the fact that someone could take a mere plastic bottle and some cardboard and make it into, you know, these little houses. Basically, when I'm talking about little houses, like something you would make for your daughter, right? Like a dollhouse. And if anybody out there knows what those doll houses, you know, like them big Victorian ones, you know, that you would give to little girls, I mean, excuse me, they can be very costly. And like, my friend was sitting there, at first they were saying stuff like, God, how do you wash this? No wonder you fall asleep every time, like when I call and check up on you and you talking about some of your sleep. That's not the reason why I'm falling asleep. But they were sitting there saying like, I'm falling asleep just now looking at this, you know, but that's their sense of humor, right? But they had to admit that they was a bit intrigued, right? So they then said, basically, they're taking trash, right? And all they're doing is making new trash, like it's a different set of trash. Like, and they was talking about how it looked cheap. And when I put the links in there and you see these, right, there's just like no way that they look cheap. Not to me. I think it's genius. It is genius, because if you was to look at the finished product, right, if you had never seen them do this, I'm sorry, hold on. Wait a minute. Okay. If you didn't know what they were using, you would never have known what they began with, in other words, if you just saw the finished product. And they were like, nope. I mean, come on, that's crazy. Somebody would buy that? And I was just like, you know, you can't see the beauty in that. Like, it's artistic. And then we got into this discussion about, you know, like basically homemade stuff. Okay. So at one point, I used to do ceramics, and I'm not talking about when you go to these contemporary shops and you just grab a little piece, you know, from the shelf, and then they sit you down with one paintbrush, right? And like 3 colors, and then say, here, paint, and then come back in a week and we'll have it ready, because they got to put it back in the kiln. No, I used to do ceramics. Like when you pour the mold, like my friends showed me that process. You put it into the kiln for the first firing, and then, you know, when you put it in the kiln, when it's in its raw form, it's greenware. And then when you fire it the first time it comes out, it's then bisque. And then I would have like a whole collection of these, right? And then I would either stain it or I would glaze it. And if I glazed it, then of course it has to go in for another firing. So anybody who out there who, if you know what I'm talking about with ceramics, you know there's a process. So, like I said, at one point, excuse me, because I always eat these big chunks of food, and is air already on my stomach, which is why they tell you to drink water before you eat. And then that's why y'all see me every Sunday going, ugh. Anyway, so back to the story. So during that time period, I worked for a woman who, you know, she was actually my friend. She turned out to be my friend. My boss turned out to be my friend. And I remember her saying, just out of the blue, and I think she was trying to make sure that if, you know, she needed to cut off a situation before it got started. So she wanted to make sure that I never gave her anything that I made, because she was just like, oh, that's so nice that you got into ceramics and stuff like that. But she was just like, but I'm just letting you know now, don't make me anything. She said, because I don't like handmade stuff. It looks cheap. That's what she said. That's what she said. Now, during that time, I was not really crocheting, but I was always doing something. Mainly, well, I was trying to do something other than The Sims, because I used to be like stuck to the computer with The Sims. But I've always had a love for arts and crafts, or different types of crafts. And I was pretty good at the ceramics. I actually entered 2 pieces into the ceramic show that was held in Mesquite, Texas. This is way back, a couple of years back. And it was my first attempt. I won 3rd for one piece and 2nd for another for the beginners. I was proud. But I reminded that person, because the person also knew my boss. We all used to hang together. And they said, well, not everything looks cheap, because I actually made them like 1, 2, maybe 2 or 3 pieces, and they loved it. And I thought to myself, and I said to that person, I said, well, you probably just liked it because, you're my friend and you didn't want to hurt my feelings. And they was like, no. And I believed them, because they had it in their old house and they just got another house and they have it in their new house, right? So I believed them. Anyway, I started going into this discussion. I'm like, everybody's entitled to their own opinion. I get that, right? But I have heard that one too many times in my life as a creator. I'm just, when people say it looks cheap, the fact that society associates the word cheap and handmade like it's a marriage, like they go together, is a problem for me, right? And what kills me, so I'm going to break this down. For instance, okay, I crochet. We all know that, right? And I will hear people say things like, no, I just, it looks cheap. But you'll go to the store and it'll be a nice mesh shirt, like netting. You'll get it off the rack, take it up to the counter, and that nice mesh netting that was probably crocheted or knitted will cost, right? Like about $45, $50. Now I'm just giving you a scenario, but this is a real scenario. You'll take it up there, and because you saw it at Macy's or Dillard's or something like that, you are willing to pay that money. And maybe the tag actually says, I don't know, like, Calvin Klein or Antel or something like that. And because it has that tag on there, you're okay with that. Okay? When I was doing ceramics, understand what I'm saying. I'm not talking about like beginners, like your child brings you something home and it looks crazy. You be like, what's that? And they be like, it's a flower pot. And you thought it was an ashtray. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about people who actually have skills. You will go ahead and be like, oh no, I don't really want that or whatever. But you'll go to Crate and Barrel or what's that, Pottery Barn or Barn Pottery or whatever it's called. You'll go to Pier 1, if they even exist anymore. And because that piece of glass or ceramic has a little sticker on the bottom of the item with a barcode or a SKU number, you'll pay that $95. But when I was doing ceramics, right, people will be like, well, yeah, I want you to make me this. Okay, boom, here's the price. Oh, well, that's kind of expensive, is it? It is. And I told this person, I was just like, I don't understand it. I was just like, you can't look at the beauty that someone was able to look at something that you and I would throw out and not think anything of it, or we think we're doing something good if we're recycling. But somebody said, no, don't throw that out. Don't throw out your Amazon box. Don't throw out that 2-liter Coke, bottle. Don't throw out, that bucket from Kentucky Fried Chicken. And they will make something that you have no idea, if you see the finished product, what it was to begin with. What I'm saying is that everybody's entitled. If you don't like handmade items, okay, I get it. But I would just rather you say, I don't like, arts and crafts, rather than to say, I don't like arts and crafts or handmade items because it looks cheap. So we're sitting here having this, it was a conversation. It wasn't an argument, because I respect that person, but we're sitting here having this conversation. So I said, so do you like stuff because it's expensive? And they was just like, no, but it doesn't look cheap. I need for you to stop saying that. I really need for you to do better and stop saying that. It was driving me crazy. It was driving me crazy. Driving me crazy. And crocheters, knitters, arts and crafts people, we've all experienced this. We've heard this a million times. Someone that I follow actually did a podcast Tony from TL Yarn. She actually did a podcast. Like, I don't know, it might have been, if Tony's watching this, forgive me. I'm not sure if it was a podcast or it was just a regular recording. I want to say it was a podcast. I never forgot. And it was called The Ish That People Say at craft shows. Let me tell you something. All I could do was sit there and shake my head the whole entire time, like, yup. Because she was given different scenarios, like what people will do when they come to a craft show, right? And the things that people, the artists, experience, okay? And I personally have never sold my stuff at a craft show, okay? I would just basically be at work and somebody would either get wind of that I did ceramics or I crocheted, and then they would be like, well, can you make me this? And when she was screaming out so many different scenarios, like how people will try to undermine you, they will try to water down your price. Basically, what she was trying to let the public know, right? She was trying to let people know, because some people may not even realize what they're doing. But some people, a lot of people, I think you know what you're doing. I think you know what you're doing. No. I understand that everybody has their opinions. That's fine. But what it also does is it comes down to respect. I mean, that's kind of mean. You know, when people say, oh, it looks cheap, or like Tony on her podcast, people will say, tell their friends, don't buy that. I can make that. Or I know somebody who can make that. And I love what she said. She said, but will you? Will you? That's the same thing when people go to restaurants and they see what's on their plate and they be like, I can make that. Number one, will you? Number two, can you? And number three, can you get the exact same results that you see? Probably. I mean, you know, that's the thing. It's about respect. It's about respect. Acknowledge that that person has talent. Because when I'm doing something, when I'm crocheting or making a wreath or whatever I'm doing, I am using my God-given talent. God-given talent. God-given talent. I have to keep saying that. Like, I'm using my God-given talent. You know what that talent means to me? That means he has instilled in me something that is unique. And if you're sitting here saying, well, Shine, there's a million people on YouTube who know how to crochet, that's true. That is their God-given talent, right? Now, there are some people, you know, and when I say God-given, I'm talking about something that comes natural. It comes natural for me to want to create. I can't be without a hobby. I can't. That was the reason why, if you watch my arthritis video, I talked about how I was depressed and I was scared because of the fact that I thought I was never going to be able to not only crochet, but my hands. And I was just like, everything that's in me comes out through my hands because I have the need to create. That's what he instilled. That's how he designed me. Okay. Now, there's a difference between learning the craft. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, I feel like I'm getting a little bit off track. The whole point of this conversation is that I would like for people to understand, don't disrespect. I mean, it's disrespectful when you say it looks cheap. And I'm sure, you know, my friend is probably going to look at this and be like, well, it does look cheap to me, you know, or other people might be like, well, it does look cheap to me. What I'm saying is not everything that's in your mind needs to come out. Yeah. Nope. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I just think yeah. It's almost like the way the creator of something feels, it's like we feel like someone is discrediting us. Like someone is saying, yo, what you're doing is nice, but it's not worth anything. Mm-hmm. Yep. Because I've had people come to me. I've heard them say stuff like that. But then they'll come to me and say, hey, my sister's about to have a baby. Or, my mom, 50th birthday 80th birthday is coming up. Can you make? Sure. Sorry, Linda. I think I did. Okay. Sure. What color? Blah, blah, blah. How big? Blah, blah, blah. What kind of fabric? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. It's going to cost you. And it's going to cost you this. What? That's too high. And I break it down to them the way I broke it down to you. Okay. It costs this much to get the supplies. And already they start bartering or trying to talk me down. Well, what if I buy the supplies? Okay. Still going to charge you for my labor. And now since I have cervical stenosis and arthritis, oh, you best believe. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to cost you. And I don't mean no astronomical. I have made things for people and charged them way under the price that I was supposed to be charging them. Nope. Like one year at a job that I used to work at, I got there and one of my co-workers found out that I did ceramics, right? She asked not only for me to make a holiday piece, but a customization on this holiday piece. She wanted a cookie jar. She wanted a Santa Claus cookie jar, but she also wanted a black Santa cookie jar. Okay. Now, here's the thing. You can find a Santa cookie jar, right? That's not hard. But how many times do you see a black Santa cookie jar, right? So, okay, not a problem, right? And the thing was massive. It was massive. Like I showed her a picture of the bisque. That means, before it's painted and glazed, excuse me. And the fact that it's a cookie jar means it's going to have to go through 2 additional firings in the kiln. Okay, that costs money because I need to glaze it on the inside that is with a food safe glaze. That's on the inside of the cookie jar. And then I have to glaze, do a different glaze that's on the outside. So, that's how it works. But anyway, it's a lot of detail. I mean, because the Santa, he was standing up, full body, and then beside him, he had like his sack, and then he had a whole bunch of toys coming out of the sack. So do you know how much detail, how much paint and glaze that would take, how much time that would take? So at that time, like I think I was like about 5-6 years into ceramics. And I asked the woman who basically was guiding me, who had taught me the skill. And she said, I asked her, I said, Fran, how much am I supposed to charge? Now she had been doing this. I mean, this lady, her work was like, her work was on fire. She was the bomb in her work. So she was just like, okay, well, and she broke it down, the calculation. Basically, what she told me was that I was supposed to be charging her $105 for this piece. I mean, it was massive. And so I said, okay, well, when I went back to work, for one, I just got at that job. I'm trying to like give her a little discount or whatever, and I did not charge her the 105 or 125, whatever Fran had told me. I dropped it down to 75. 75. See, that was mistake number one on my behalf, right? Because I felt like she was walking away or whatever. And it wasn't so much because I wanted that money. I just wanted to seem fair. And of course, I had to hear, like, come on, you can't give me a better price. Number one, because of race, which I don't like when people do that. I don't like it. So just because we're the same race, I'm supposed to just give, like, I don't like that. I don't care who it is. This is the price. Okay? And I already explained to her, no, I gave you the deal because we're co-workers. This is my first, massive piece like this. So $75, right? Oh my word. This is all I heard. Well, you know what? I can go to Macy's and probably find that cheaper. I'm just trying to give you the business. You think you can go to Macy's or anywhere else and find a black Santa cookie jar for cheaper than $75? The fact that it's black is already going to cost money. That's the reality of it, right? But she wanted to, so I asked her, because now I'm curious. I was just like, well, how much do you think you should pay for it? That fool came out of her mouth and said like 30. 30? Are you crazy? Baby. I said, okay, well, looks like we won't be doing business. And she couldn't believe it. She was like, so you're not going to do it? No. You're not going to do it? No. You're not going to do it? No. That's what I'm saying. She didn't even think, she had no idea what it takes to do what I'm doing. She has no idea. None. And nor did she care. That was the issue. Nor did she care. Yup. I'm looking at y'all crazy the same way I was looking at her crazy. Like, just think that the fact that someone takes their time to do something with their own God-given talents. Okay? You will pay $120, $150, right, for some seats at a concert or a game because it's Beyonce, because it's Rihanna, because it's LeBron, because, it's Dak, because, you'll do that. And you'll say, yeah, but they're professionals and they're putting on a show. Basically, all you're doing is saying that this person's talent is worth it and yours is, oh, that's cute. That's basically what you're saying. I'm sorry. When I go to craft shows, matter of fact, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Look. See this? Look at that. You see that? Look at that. I might have to turn the light on for this. Hold on. Here we go. Now look at that. You see that? This. Look, and I don't even know what kind of wood this is. Now look at the detail in this. And if you're like, what is that, Cheyenne? This is a candle holder, right? You put a little tea light candle in here. I bought this when I was 23 years old. 22 or 23. And Mary, if you're looking at this, Mary Lou, this is from when we all went to the zoo back in Delaware. We went to the zoo. It was me, you, Lisa, and Rhonda. And you had, God, oh, forgive me, Mary, Dominique. Dominique was a little girl, okay? So Dominique is Mary Lou's granddaughter. We all went to the zoo, and at the zoo, there was like some kind of powwow festival. And it was the Native Americans. They were selling their jewelry. They were selling like all their crafts, their ponchos and stuff like that. And I never forgot this Native American lady. She was selling these. She was sitting in a little tent. And okay, so we're talking about like 1990, I don't know, 95. Well, wait a minute, if I was wrong, it was like mid 1990s, okay? So, your prices and cost of living was cheaper. But basically, the woman was just like, okay, when I said, oh, I like that. And it was almost like she was scared to actually say what the price was. And she said $45. And I remember Mary, I'm sorry, but I remember Mary, because Mary was looking out for me. Mary has always looked out for me. She is like, oh, Mary would be like my third mom, on earth. And Mary was just like, I don't know. And she knew I didn't have a lot of money. So Mary was just like, okay, you're pretty much going to spend almost all your money, but I didn't really care. I looked at that lady's eyes, and what I saw was like, I could almost say that she was willing to like come down, because I know Mary will be like, and I want to say, if I remember correctly, I want to say Mary might have got it down to 40 or whatever. Nevertheless, I paid the lady $40. And I remember when we were walking away, Mary was just like, well, that was most of your money. Like, for that? Yes, for that. Look at this. Just please look at it. Look at the grain. Look at that wood. I have no idea what this is. And I really wish y'all could feel it. She handmade these. There was no stickers on there. No, okay, this is made in the U.S. She made these for $11. And I've had it since I was 22 or 23. Basically, I wasn't even 24 yet. I remember it like it was yesterday. I've had this, and this is so precious to me, and I will never give it up. I will never give it up. This thing is so sturdy. It is unbelievable. That's real skill. Now, somebody was with me, now what I'm saying is, this could have been in Pierre One or Crate and Barrel, and you would have saw $35 on there, and you would have been like, I'm paying it. And keep in mind, you would have paid it plus tax. Unless you was living in Delaware like I was, where it's tax-free, and there's not a lot of states that are tax-free. You would have paid that, the asking price, and the tax. And you would have walked out and put it in your living room, and your friends would come over, and then you would sit there and you brag. You would brag like, yeah, I got it from Crate and Barrel. Yeah, it's an original, It's this, is that. This is like sold in the top stores in Paris. Girl, please. Whatever. Because a lot of the stuff that we buy as consumers in stores that we pay all this money for, you get it home. It got that new smell on there. It's nice, right? Give it about a couple of months. It's somewhere down on the floor in the corner. You ain't dusted. It don't really appeal to you. Give it about another year, and it's going to end up in one or two places. At Goodwill. Or on a curb, because you'll just go ahead and throw it away and be like, what was I thinking? And 9 times What was I thinking for even buying it? Not this. Not this. I'm just saying. Just saying. Somebody put their heart. When people make items for you, when I do, I know I do, when I am crocheting for someone, I keep that person in my mind while I'm doing it. Everything that they are as a person, I'm doing it with every stitch. I'm thinking about that person. And mine is coming from love. And this is a true story. This is a true story. Okay, so let me tell you all the story. There was a girl, matter of fact, that same crazy job. Now I'm starting to think it was that job. That same job where the chick wanted the black Santa Claus cookie jar. There was another girl. She wanted a doll. Now, that somebody in her department I had made a doll for, right? And I had no problems making a doll, right? Crocheting a doll, like a aragumi. I hate these words. Anyway, the other girl said, oh, I saw that you made this for her. Can you make me a doll? Let me tell you something. I tried. I could swear that she might have asked me to make her this doll in March. And usually when I make the doll, I make it in a weekend. This is back in the, before I had problems with my hands or whatever. She was just like, I'll pay you. Now with her, money wasn't the object. Let me tell you what happened. So I kept trying to make this doll. Every time I would make the head and I would begin to put the eyes on and everything, the button eyes or whatever. No matter how many times I kept making this doll, that doll kept looking demonic to me. It always looked creepy. It wasn't like the other dolls that I had made. This particular doll it just looked demonic. My spirit would not allow me to finish making the doll. You know why? Because that girl was not a nice person. I'm not saying she was like a demon. What I'm saying is her spirit was, and I'm very in tune with people's spirits. When I say I'm in tune, I don't want y'all to think I'm not a psychic, none of that. I don't deal with all that. What I'm saying is that I am very in tune. Like, when you ever see somebody and you be like, I don't know why I don't like them. And you wish you didn't feel that way. That's your spirit saying, ooh, something's not in alignment with that person. And whatever was going on with that chick, my spirit was like, oh, this went on for weeks. I kept trying. It was so crazy because I would always just get to the head and just the head itself would look demonic. I kept changing the eye colors. I kept changing where I was placing the eyebrows. It's crocheting. I'm stitching. I was just like, what? What is happening? And every single time, I had so many of them stupid heads that at that time I still had 2 dogs. I would just start over again and they would be running around the living room with the head in their mouths because I had so many of them. They thought they were like balls or whatever. So finally, I think she said March. I want to say it was the beginning of May. This is a true story, y'all. She came to me and was just like, so did you, are you still going to make the doll? And finally, I had to get up enough courage to say, lady, I'm sorry, but when I create, I have to, feel good about the creation because whatever you have inside of you is going to come out in the work. Is okay. Are we all in agreement with that? It will come out in the work. I don't care how bad you want to make it. It will just come out in the work. And I said, I'm sorry, when I create, I have got to feel good about the person that asked me to make it, which now I'm pretty much revealing to her, like, yeah, I guess I'm not crazy about you. I'm trying, and I don't care about the money. That's me. I don't care about the money because my spirit won't allow me to do it. If it's something off with you, I'd just be like, you know what? I'm good. You go ahead and keep your little coins. Find someone else. I'm just being honest. And Yeah, she was she walked away giving me side eye. I could kind of feel the like invisible darts, but I was telling the truth. I was just like, I can't create for people that are, yeah. If you got something crazy going on with you, it's just not going to happen. And I learned from that day, and I'm so sincere when I tell you, I don't care if it's the Pope. Because if the Pope came up to me, if I'm not feeling him, I will be like, oh, Pope, I did what you're doing, but something's off. I would use the cliche, it's me, it's not you. I would just say that. I'm so serious, but anyway, yep, that's my conversation. That's my conversation. I just want to leave you with this. Like, when you go to craft shows or stuff like that, like Tony says, I keep saying Tony from Teal Yarns, but she was so right. When you go to craft shows or whatever, or it's not even a craft show. If you know somebody at work or in your family and they make something, just don't be like, yeah, that looks, I don't know. It looks homemade. You should be happy that someone wants to take their time out to make you something. To me, that's more meaningful than somebody saying, I spent $5,000 on this for you. So? Because 9 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10, that $5,000 you spent, whatever you spent it on is going to depreciate extremely quickly. Like, you don't have a really good memory to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you get handmade stuff, there's these beautiful stories usually that go behind it. Like, I'm sorry, I bought this. But I remember, it takes me back to a time in my life, and I remember the face of that lady, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Yup. And here's another thing too. When we as a society start making it seem like it's more important to buy things. Now, I'm sorry, because this is something so dear to my heart. So another thing you got to think about is you are rotting children's brains out. You ever hear these parents that be like, on Christmas Day, I can't believe I spent all this money on these toys and all they want to do is play with, that stupid box. Then you learn your lesson from that. Who has not? Like when you were a kid, okay, maybe it wasn't a box, but let's say your parents bought you 10 items. I can testify to that. Me and my cousin Michelle, on Christmas Day, the way it was, like, when we came down the steps, Michelle's stuff was on one side, mine was on the other, right? Okay, so we basically, like, our parents was very straightforward with us. They would tell us to make our Christmas list, and then they would say, pick out like 15 items. And then they would say, now look, just because you put the 15 items don't mean you're getting all 15, right? So we basically had to say what we really wanted the most. Of course, whatever's number one is what you really want the most, right? Okay, so if my dad got me 10 items that I put on my list, I promise you, my dad would always try to get at least 5 of the stuff, right? The things that I had listed. But then maybe, I don't know, Dad, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe if it was something like, he'd be like, okay, look, I can get her 2 of the things, and the rest of it, I'm gonna pick out because it's cheaper, right? My dad would get me something that I didn't ask for, and it might have been cheaper, I don't know, or he thought it was interesting. How much you want to bet? That number one item that I put, I might have played with it for a couple of hours on Christmas Day. But then my dad noticed that I would always be playing with something. The very thing that I didn't even ask for was the one that I played with all year long. And now my parents is like, damn it, I could have just, I could have just saved my money and bought that one item. Do you see where I'm going with this? What I'm going with is the fact that I named all the name brand stuff, right? I was like, I want a Baby Alive. I want a Cabbage Patch. I want Hungry Hippos. I want G.I. Joe. I want a Tyco racing set. And then it'd be something crazy that my dad bought. I don't even know what the name of it was. It had a whole bunch of sticks or something, and it wasn't Legos, and it had some special kind of plastic film, and it was like 1,000 pieces, and you could build whatever you wanted to build. And I was intrigued. Kids were like, what is that? I don't know, but I'm playing with it. Do you see where I'm going with this? The child only wants what's fun. They don't care about name brands. Not until we poison their minds with it. They don't care about name brands. If you never said anything, if you was to give a child who had not been exposed to the latest and the greatest, what adults think is hot, what we think is trending, you know what I'm saying? What we think is Gucci. Yeah, I'm using all the little street terms. If you was to give a child a flip phone, but they didn't know anything about an iPhone or a Droid, they will be happy. They would. They will be happy. If you gave a child a pair of Bobos, and if you don't know what Bobos are, Bobos, I don't know if that's an East Coast thing. When we was growing up, Bobos was basically a sneaker that was not a name brand, you know. And I clearly remember somebody could have bought me a pair of sneakers, and I really, really liked them. I'm like, oh my God, I love them. They look great on my feet. And then I go to school, and Julius Robinson be like, Bobos, they make your feet feel fine. Bobos. They cost $1.99, and you just, and here come the tears. Like, what? And now all of a sudden, I don't want to wear them sneakers. But see, that was because if he never said anything, I would have never known. Y'all see where I'm going with this? We are just always talking about name brands. Oh, and it had to cost this. Y'all should see me. I am so happy. Oh, I'm so happy that my dad and my mom, oh, this is another true story. Well, my dad, you know, when my mom, one year, it was when I was, I had been going to Catholic school all my life, right? So my dad was trying to save money. And so he was just like, Cheyenne, okay, for the last 3 years of school, which was high school, so all the way up into 9th grade, I had been in Catholic school. But for 10th, 11th, and 12th, my dad was just like, you're going to public. Man, I was about to cry because I was like, I'm never going to make it. And so that meant my mom, well, my parents had to buy me what? Regular clothes, right? There's no more uniforms. So my mom had bought like, I mean, you know, I had got some new outfits, but she went to the thrift store and she bought some clothes for me. And Mom, bro, if you're looking at this, I mean, I'm being honest. I mean, yeah, I'm not even sure that I was upset and I was in my room crying because, you know, I was just like, well, you know, they're ugly. It wasn't that. I was like upset because I knew what was coming down the pipeline. I knew it was coming down the pipeline. These kids, okay, I'm already going to a public school where, you know, the pressure, the stress, but they're going to make fun of me. And, you know, yeah. And then on top of that, my cousin, she had all the name brands. Now, granted, she let me use her clothes or whatever, but yeah, it was a lot of pressure. But most of the times that whatever my mom got, I actually liked it deep down inside. But, you know, I'm trying to like, you know, yeah. I wish that I had the personality that I have now, or, not the personality. I wish that I had the strength and confidence that I have now. I wish I had it back then. Because I'm telling you right now, I wasn't the most liked in high school. You know, I mean, pretty much a lot of people just liked me because of who I was related to. I mean, and I don't want my cousin to feel no kind of way, but that was the truth. They'd be like, oh, you Michelle's cousin. Oh, okay. So in other words, now that's okay. You know, my cousin had name brands. I mean, you know, and that's but I didn't. I didn't have name brands. My parents was like, look, these are brand new jeans. It didn't have Jordache. It didn't have Sergio. You know, what was the other ones back in the day? It didn't have Sassoon. It didn't have Gloria Vanderbilt. No. I had a good old pair of Wranglers. Jeez. I had Wranglers, y'all. And them things, they hurt. Because they was tough and thick. And Wranglers was like a unisex jean. There was no such thing as like a girl jean and a boy jean. It was just a pair of Wranglers. Round them up, cowboys. Oh, snap. Yeah, that's what I had. I can laugh about it now, but I'm telling you right now, it was not funny back then. It was not funny. Yeah, but I'm sorry, let me get myself together. And them Wranglers was stiff, man. You be walking, it took a cowboy to be able to operate in them jeans. It wasn't remember, Wranglers didn't have no colors. It wasn't even different shades of jeans. You know how jeans come in different shades of denim? They like light jeans, washed out jeans, you know, like dark navy, you know, the mom blue jeans or whatever. Wranglers was just one blue with that crazy stitching in the back pocket. It was like zoop, zoop, zoop. Wait a minute, zoop, zoop. Like it was crazy, yo. Oh, let me see if I can make it for y'all. It was like this. Hold on. Wait a minute. It was like I can't even get the stitching right. Look, y'all see me trying to draw on here. It was like this. Let me see if I can do it. It was like this. And then they had like little dots, like doop boop 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 boop. Boop 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 boop. Oh no, it was crazy. And you be walking around with those on the back of your jeans. You know what? Anybody wearing Wranglers back then deserved to be laughed at. That's ignorant. Let me stop. Anyway, back to the story. Damn, this thing don't stop pausing. Yup. So what I'm saying is that had designer names and price tags and everything, if that had never been in the play, when my mom was doing, you know, when she was just like, look, I'm buying a bang for your buck. Here's these clothes from the Thriftway, from the Goodwill, you know, and they wasn't tattered or anything like that. I'm not saying that my parents only bought me Goodwills. I'm just saying my mom was just like, there's nothing wrong with these clothes. And it really wasn't. Because what's crazy now is that I stay in Goodwill. I'll be like, yay. I do. I'm talking about household items, clothes. The only thing I won't wear is their shoes. I just don't. I can't. No, not yet. I don't just don't do. But otherwise, I don't care. Just like when it comes to a car. And people be like, what kind of car you drive? And I drive a little nice car. It's a little Kia Rio. But I have the base model. And that's all I want. I actually request the base model when I buy a car. And they look at me like I'm crazy. Yes, I have a car where I roll down the window. That's right. I have a car that uses actual key. That's right. I have a car that still has a CD player built in it. That's right. I have a car where you have to put a key in it to unlock the trunk. That's right. I have a car that you got to be like, let me reach over and unlock the door because there's no power locks, no power windows. People be cracking the hell up. But I'm going to tell you what, if you say, Cheyenne, meet me here at Starbucks, I'm going to get there the same way you got there. What difference does it make? What difference does it make? And that woman who wanted that black Santa cookie claw, this cookie jar, this is true, y'all. I can't make this up. When I was working there, it was like a couple of months before she saw what I was working. Now, I wasn't driving a Kia Rio. At that time, I had a Chevrolet Cavalier. Now, we're talking about the year of 2012, 2013. She came out to the parking lot, and she saw me get into this car. It was like a little two-door. It was like a 2000 Cavalier Chevrolet, right? The next day, we was in the break room getting coffee. You know that chick had the nerve to say to me, that's what you drive? She said, with the way you dress and how you be dressing up and always changing your hair and everything, she said, I would have thought you drove something better than that. These people, I swear, people have diarrhea of the mouth all the time. What does that mean? I mean, I got there at work every day at 6 o'clock. What time she get there? You know what I'm saying? I was just like, you know what? I have a car that I can afford. How about that? I don't have anybody knocking on my door talking about where's your payment. I live a good life. You know why I live a good life? Because I stay within my means the best that I can. I'm not trying. I don't care what this world is saying. I'm okay. And it's not that I don't have. I do have some designer stuff, but 9 times out of 10, when I buy something, if it is designer, 9 times out of 10, I don't even know until I get home. And it might take a couple of washes or something. And I'll be like, who was that? And then somebody be like, you don't know what you got? Nope. Yep. I'm done. Let me go ahead and stop holding y'all hostage. So anyway, I will put the link down for the Edamame Spaghetti and the little lean cuisine, even though y'all like, Sean, you don't have to do all that, but I'll do it. And I hope everybody had a good Sunday. I hope y'all had a great weekend. And anything you want to ask me? Anything you want to say? Leave it in the comments. Be respectful. Love one another. And if you don't want to love one another, at least respect one another. Right? What else? Oh, yeah. It's time to do shout outs. Hey, Linda. Hey, Neil. Hey, Brian, I'm sorry about your team. Oh, my Eagles won, baby. Hey, Dad. Hey, Mom. Oh, yeah. Hi, Bridget. Who else? Hey, Barb. Hey, Barb. Yeah. And, oh, hey, Lisa. I think from Lisa Knits. And there's a couple other new subscribers. Hey, new subscribers. Hi. I hope you like this. This is what I do every Sunday. Has nothing to do with crocheting. Oh, and before I started recording this, you guys, I actually started working on some crochet pieces because you know what's coming up. I know we're in September, but I've already started on some Halloween things now. One thing about me, I like Halloween. I've always liked it. I just don't do I don't do the scary stuff. No, I'm not into that. I'm sorry. Nope. Because Dad will tell you I'm a scaredy cat. Even when I come home to see my dad, I'll be like trying to leave a light on when I got to go to sleep. And he'd be like, no, you're wasting electricity. Stop being a scaredy cat. I'll be like, it's dark. True statement. So I don't do scary stuff, but I have some cute little Halloween projects. I actually completed one today. So in between my normal crochets, you'll just see something pop up and it says Halloween. Yep. And I hope to put that out maybe earlier this week rather than at the last minute. And I'm just trying to think anything else on my mind. Nope, not really. So if I forgot to say hi to anybody specifically, leave it in the comments. I mean, come on. I'm just trying to do. Hey, Michelle. Hey, Cam. Hey, Aunt Kathy. I don't even know if my aunt watches this channel. Yup. So anyway, I hope everyone have a great week. Be positive, be respectful, right? Do your best. Be better tomorrow than what you were today. And if you need a little help, ask the one upstairs and he will help you every time. All right. So thank you for tuning in. And if you haven't subscribed, please think about subscribing. Think about it. Put it on the table. Discuss it with your husbands. Discuss it with your children. Discuss it with your pastor. Discuss it with your boss. Discuss it. And then come back and hit the subscribe button. Hit the little bell for the notifications, okay? Love y'all much. Peace out, homies. Be blessed. Thank you.